Welcome to the Traitors Online.
It's the ultimate game of trust and deception.
Over the next few weeks, 20 players from all across the UK are going to battle it out to become the ultimate winners of this competition.
To hopefully win this incredible game.
At night, the traitors will murder the faithfuls. It's the faithfuls' job to find out who the traitors are. Get them before they get you.
At the end of the game, if any traitors are left, they win it all.
Welcome to the Traitors. Well, hello. I am actually live this time. Welcome to the Traitors After Dark episode number 10. I am the world's best host, Kyle, and thank you for joining me. What an episode. We had so many twists, turns, as we nearly reached the final of the competition. Talking of twists and turns, Chloe was unfortunately murdered in the episode. She can't be with us this evening, but here is a pre-filmed interview with the wonderful Chloe. Questions now regarding the actual game. Obviously, You joined a few episodes in. How hard was it kind of joining quite a well-established group and sort of trying to fit in? Did you find that difficult?
It's quite hard because obviously with the game having restarted as well, I can't see, like, obviously if the roles were reassigned, I wasn't able to see the changes in people. And also, since I get nervous anyway, it was hard to kind of join and sort of get to know everyone in that short space of time. And obviously, being a new arrival, people were suspecting that me or Ethan, the other late arrival, was a traitor, and I just found it hard, like, remembering everyone's names and everything as well at first.
I mean, I think they welcomed you with open arms. I think they did really like your company in the Zoom.
Yeah.
Did you feel
even I was
like,
quiet?
Yeah, did you feel like welcomed into the group?
Yeah, definitely.
Lovely. All right. So round 6 then, Mark was banished in that kind of cruel little game. I think you were there for that one, weren't you? How did that feel to kind of lose someone so suddenly?
It made me nervous for what was to come. I just think that way's like just really cruel because it's like out of everyone's control.
All right, and then past couple of days before you were murdered, Debbie and EJ were both outed as traitors. How did it feel to kind of get 2 in a row?
I was really happy. I was especially happy that I was right about Ethan because it's, like I said, helped with my confidence and that, like, to speak up more because I ended up being right and helping the group.
Lovely. All right. Okay. Just a couple more questions then. Obviously, you've got a couple of traitors out, but along the way, you've lost lots of faithfuls through murder and through banishment. How does it feel every time that you lose a fellow faithful?
Obviously a game, but I just feel like it's really mean, especially those that have been murdered, because they don't get the chance to then, along with me, have the chance to stand up and say I'm a faithful, because I really liked watching that moment on the TV because it's like a so there moment. So I just think it's quite cruel, especially the murders. But it was also sad to lose them through the banishments, obviously, because the traitors have manipulated everyone into voting that. So it's quite mean.
Okay. So then, just a couple more questions. Obviously, you were murdered. How did it feel to kind of be out of the game?
I was a bit upset. I mean, at first I took a few moments to take it in, but I was just annoyed that, like I just said, I didn't get that moment. I think I'd rather have been banished because then obviously there's a reason. But then I could have stood there and been like, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I'm a faithful. And I just would have liked to do that.
Yeah. All right then. So final question. Despite all the twists and turns, are you glad that you took part?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm really glad of the experience and I'm so thankful for being able to come on here and do this.
Lovely. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me. All the best. I hope your mum's all right as well.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Thank you.
And I'll speak to you soon. All right.
Okay. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.
There we go. Okay. And there was a little chat with Chloe. Now, Chloe may have left the game, but she was not the only person to leave this episode. As Dougie was banished, which was quite led by Lisa, pretty much. And we are lucky enough to be joined by Dougie live right now. Hello, Dougie.
Good evening. Good evening. How are we all doing?
Nice to see you. I'm great. How are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Obviously, we played the game quite a while ago, so emotionally, I have recovered.
I suppose watching it back, does it kind of bring back all those emotions and feelings?
Yeah, but in a strange way, in that maybe I'm just a bit of a sadist. Like I want to do it again.
Yeah. So, obviously, a lot happened in your banishments. We'll just kind of unpick that quickly.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, it
Lisa
was
went.
quite the ride.
You went full throttle for Lisa. Kind of. How do you think? Just talk us through kind of what went through your head when that kind of whole banishment was going on.
Yeah, so I mean, leading up to that banishment, I knew I was under suspicion for quite a while already. So I had to formulate at least a plan, or hopefully more than one plan, because once people have got you in their head to be banished or to get rid of you from the game, that there's very little you could do. I thought I actually had got it at one point. I'd changed quite a few minds, and then I think uh, my good old buddy Ethan really kind of dropped me in on that one. So I think I'd converted a lot of people to going, actually, I think Dougie is a faithful.
Yeah.
And then he came around, and then my back was to the wall. So when I was coming up with some of the plans, I'm sure we'll go through the other one a little bit later. But when it came to going for Lisa, I just really unpacked what she was doing to me and kind of related it to how how Ethan kind of did that earlier
Yeah.
in the game, and there were a few similarities. So I was just kind of hedging my bets really, in order to give my fellow traitors the best opportunity going forward.
Yeah. So those of you who are in chat tonight, if you have any questions for Dougie, drop them in. Catherine Powell has already popped in with the question of why did you murder her?
Well, it wasn't actually my intention to murder Catherine. I mean, I was the one who obviously had to do the kiss of death. It was originally Ethan who was going to do that, but it was unfortunate that he was banished. So then it kind of fell on my shoulders to do that, and it just so happened that I found the right opportunity and moment to do that, where it didn't raise too much suspicion. So, really sorry I had to do it, but it was literally just the way that the cards fell. Really.
Yeah, I think that was a difficult murder, wasn't it? That one.
Mhm.
So let's kind of go straight back to the beginning of the game, because obviously you were always saying from the start that you wanted to be a traitor.
Yeah,
Are you kind of
absolutely.
feeling the same way now that you've done the game? Are you still happy that you said that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've grown up watching lots of shows, reality shows that have mind game / strategy type of involvements within them. Um, Most notably, Survivor. There's the American game show. There's a lot of social play that happens within that. And I've been watching that for years and years, and I've always enjoyed that aspect of that show. Couple that with a bit of a murder mystery. If those pop out a baby, you kind of got traitors really. So I've always enjoyed that side of
Yeah.
things. But the threat of always potentially being murdered, I didn't think would suit me that well.
Yeah. So, I mean, you brought up EJ earlier,
Yeah,
but kind of how was that for you when he joined you as a traitor?
yeah. I was surprised by it, but I was glad to have him on board as well. And he's a great guy. And I think he played a great role. I just
Mm,
think the timing of him coming in with Chloe always meant that one of them was going to be under suspicious. And once Marissa had left, it was clear that Chloe probably wasn't the traitor. So
yeah.
attention would always go on to Ethan. But I think he did a great job for the time that he was in there.
So, during your time as a traitor, you saw through two recruitments,
Yes.
David and then Mike. How hard was
Mm.
it to kind of choose who you wanted to be on your team?
I don't. I don't think it was that difficult. I think largely the two people we recruited essentially chose themselves just by how much trust they had gained within the game up to that point. Whether there had been any suspicion around them, they had easily dispelled that. So it was quite an easy job picking them, to be honest.
Yeah. So, again, you've kind of been a traitor for quite a while. So you've seen quite a few of your fellow traitors leave. There was Debbie, there was EJ, and then there was he who shall not be named.
Yeah.
How is that for you when you kind of have to banish your fellow traitors?
I mean, now looking back, I can say it's quite tough, but I think when it's actually happening, at the time, it's more of at least it's them, not me type of scenario. I always had another traitor or two to kind of go back to kind of discuss it, which always would put me at ease. But it's very much at least it's them, not me. But that means my time is probably coming soon, which it did.
Yeah. So there were a few big twists in the game. One of them was Mark when he suddenly left. How did that feel for you guys?
Yeah, it was very surprising because there wasn't really. It's a twist that's not really been seen on the actual television shows, so that was quite surprising. And he had a lot of the way in which he left was shocking. So I think he played a really good game as a faithful.
Yeah.
I think had he been there longer, we would have been in a lot of trouble a lot sooner.
Yeah. I think for you guys as well, it was Mark or EJ, so actually...
Yeah, quite right.
Looking back at it, that was definitely the best outcome. Another twist then is from what actually aired tonight, where you had the kind of questions, and you were saying like, who's the most forgettable, who's the most this, who's the most that. Some of those were quite harsh. Like, how was that choosing people that were forgettable and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite tough at the time. The truth is, a lot of the questions that came with negative connotations, just because of the position I was in, I knew my name would pop up a lot. Like he's at least trustworthy, or anything that's negative like that. I knew my name would pop up, so I was well prepared for that. But I think everyone who played the game had a really good head on them, a good level of maturity. So I think everyone was aware that it was just a game. There were no hard feelings attached to it.
Yeah. So Sharon had to choose between you and Calpic at one point, and to say who she trusted the most. She chose you.
I'm so glad she chose Calpic and not me. Oh, I was stressing myself so much when she did that. I was like, thank you.
Were you expecting it to be you?
100%. 100%, yeah. And seeing how it went, even though, I'd answered all the questions really well to the point where a lot of them had considered me a faithful.
Yeah.
At the time, that was after EJ had left and the suspicion was back on me. Even if I'd answered the same questions the same way, guaranteed they would have still said I was a traitor. It was just at that point. So it brought me another day in the game, which I was grateful for, in a way, because all it really did was just kind of push the stress a bit further as well.
Yeah. So let's kind of move on to talking about your banishment, because you went for Lisa. Like, I think you both went for each other in a way, but kind of, did you feel like really under pressure in that moment?
No, not particularly. I knew I was going anyway.
Yeah.
So it was just me looking at what I could do to essentially look. I came into this game to try and win. I don't think anyone would say otherwise. Anyone who does this game is there to win. I realized I wasn't going to. So the next best option for me was to try and do something that would give my fellow traitors the best chance of winning. And that's basically why I went for Lisa, because...
my final question to you really this evening is, despite the twists, the turns. Are you
Mm.
glad that you took part?
Absolutely. I was going through a bit of a tough time when the game was on, and it broke that up for me. So it was a really great me, and I would 100% do it all over again. Not sure I'd have as much time as I did now than when I did back then. But yeah,
Yeah.
it took my mind off a lot of negative things that were happening at the time, which thankfully aren't anymore. But yeah, so I'm really grateful that it came around at the right time for me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for popping on, Dougie. It's been lovely to see you again.
Same to you. Yeah, we should do this again more often.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
There we go. A lovely little interview there with Dougie. And that is all we've got time for here on After Dark. We'll be back at the slightly later day of Friday for the Traitors Online semi-final. We are getting close to the final. I will see you after that for another After Dark, our penultimate After Dark of the series, where we'll be joined by the next banishment and murder victim. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.